we've seen so many people that they might have done all the sorts of karma all throughout their life, and everyone around them would be screaming कि इसको कब अकल आएगी, ये कब सीखेगा. And as they age, we see in the old age, and most of the times, especially in today's time, we see that, during old age, we see a lot of these elders suffering. It can be really bad health conditions, it can be some illness, something would come up, and they really have to go through that physical suffering, which I also understand it's kind of the soul chose the karma cleansing, right? But I feel that is it fair, because जैसे हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा गया ना, निहत्थे पे वार नहीं करना चाहिए. At that age, in that situation, that when that person is really physically vulnerable, are we saying that the soul still took it up rather than taking when it could have actually borne it? It took it up at the time when the body is very feeble, very vulnerable, and okay, no, now I'm ready for karma cleansing, and it's going through that suffering.
Very good question. First of all, I don't think we are seen as bodies, we are seen as souls.
Yeah.
We are not seen as bodies.
Sure.
So the question of a body being feeble, etc. doesn't come in. Second, a big concept over here is of free will. You knew it all your life, you could have learnt it then. You chose not to learn it. Now in the end, you'll have to learn it. No? So Shani comes. So for many people, the last 7.5 years, the third Sadesati is when, everything starts happening. It's like all the students did their hard work in the beginning of the year. You didn't do it. So at the annual examination, whether you have chickenpox or measles, you have to go through the studies also. So we can't look at the child as a poor child there because he's already suffering with the disease. But you had all that time, you had all that awareness. Like you said, ye kyun nahi seekha? So it was being told that he had an awareness, he had triggers, but he chose not to because free will. So somewhere it has to be compensated. And we are not looked at as bodies, we are looked at as souls.
Yes.
There is nobody that we need to pity because everyone is exactly where they need to be.
So one more question. Do our children suffer because of our karmas?
Yes, interestingly, our 10th house and our 5th house is related. 5th house is the 8th house to the 10th house, which means whatever you do in the 10th house will come back in the 8th house as a misfortune if you're doing something wrong. So when people build empires professionally or, professionally they do something, they rise at the cost of others or by doing wrong things. 5th house is also the house of children.
Okay.
So their children are likely to suffer.
What?
Yes. And in fact, there are so many cases that come to me where they come to us for the child suffering. And when we compare the parent's chart to the chart of the child, you can easily understand that the child is suffering because the father, and it takes us, sometimes weeks to get it out of the parent that, did you really do this ethically? And then he says, yeah, but this is business ethics and all of that. So of course, the boundary is a little blurred, but see how the child is, suffering. Some children are, in their sleep, they are crying. Some children have a certain condition that even neurologists cannot explain what it is. They're really suffering. Some are, getting sleep paralysis at night and continuously. And when you see these houses, so astrology tells us that if we do something wrong professionally or in the house of our karma, it comes back to us directly to our firstborn child.
But you also mentioned of something right at the beginning that, initially all our sages, because the fastest way to create a karma is speech. So that is the reason, our sages used to be quiet, right? We are like right now in Kali Yuga or almost reaching Kali Yuga, right? And if I go to a therapist, right, the first thing that they would tell me is that, journal it, write it, talk about it, you'll feel better. And I feel that is needed because for a lot of people, if we don't talk about it, it's like we are suppressing that emotion that can become traumatic for myself only.
Yeah.
Right? So in that, from that lens, then how much should I speak? How much should I not speak? Then how's karma created then?
Karma is created when we are speaking ill of someone, when we are speaking negatively about a situation or a thing. We are constantly creating karma of defeat, of giving up, of maligning others and all of that. But wherever it is required, for example, if you are facing a situation where you feel that you are being abused, and abuse can be of various kinds, verbal, written, emotional, physical. then that's not where you have to think that speech creates karma. That is where you need to take a stand and you need to exhibit that confidence, courage for the process, not so much for the person that no, I'm not going to go through it. Boundaries are important, but constantly talking. Some people have this need to overshare. Some people have this need to constantly talk about, complain, moan. Those are situations where we are creating karma. So if there is a situation that you need to stand up for, or you need to stand up for yourself, there I see people want to escape. Why should we do this legal battle? Why should we do this? And otherwise they are constantly complaining about the same thing. So either you stop complaining
or you do something
about it.
Sure.
And journaling is a beautiful way because you're not speaking. Journaling is, putting everything that's in your head into the paper. And burning it. But even when you're going to a therapist, you are explaining something with a perspective that you need to be healed. So their speech acts as therapy. Only when speech acts as maligning somebody or putting down somebody or creating a vibe of fear. A lot of people you go to these days and say, oh my God, this is so much, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. One feels that, there's so much of fear being created that it's almost like, pulling the whole energy down. That is karmic. When you misuse your spiritual powers for fear, I always tell people why. Why can't we show them the hope? Why can't we show them the possibility? Because, some businesses run on fear. But don't. And if you're saying that, this is going to be a tough time, then please tell them what they can do about it. Instead of saying, this is a tough time, oh, we are doomed. Say, this is a tough time and this is what you can do. This is how you can get out of this time. So you're giving a reality check plus you're giving a solution. But whenever we are using fear or other negative things to shame people, to victimize people, that is where speech creates karma.
Okay.
So when the rishis never wanted to create a karma, they just said, we are not related to anything. Speech relates us to situations and people. उनको उतना भी कर्मा नहीं रखना था.
Okay, one crazy question. Is becoming an earthbound spirit or an entity, is that also karmic?
That's completely free-willed.
Oh.
Because we have a choice at death.
Yeah.
That do we want to go into the light or not? And in that split second, sometimes people choose to stay back because of their attachments. They choose to stay back because of revenge or because of some agenda that was not fulfilled while they were alive. And they feel so attached to the agenda. So the root is attachment. And the choice is a free will. It is not karmic.
Okay. So in that case, because I'm sure that their future or their next lifetimes have already been written, right? And they would have to know.
No.
So they will not go there until they realize.
Choose. Until they choose.
So they can be stuck there?
It's like my job is waiting for me. There's a whole building. People are waiting. My desk is waiting. But it is only when I leave my house and I go there will I arrive there, right? Doesn't mean that opportunity does not exist. And in this scheme of things, whatever I'm going to take from my house, I decide on my prarabdha. I'm carrying that on my backpack and I'm going into that life. That here is where I unpack my stuff and this is what I'm going to do today. But if I choose not to go from my house, doesn't mean that opportunity doesn't exist. It means that it's not my choice right now to get up and go from here.
So all this supernatural entities who are acting as in, they're here and very much there supernaturally, it's all by choice.
Yeah, but entities are different from earthbound spirits.
Okay. Entities can travel dimensions, I'm assuming.
And entities are sometimes from other dimensions. They are not people who died.
So can we as humans, because right now we are in this dimension, this plane, possibility that we can move to another dimension, another plane in next lifetime? Like we can take any other form?
Unless our karma is finished on earth, we cannot.
So we'll keep coming back to earth.
That's the whole point.
And then we move there.
Yes. Whether there or we become a spirit guide and we let go of this whole thing of being born and dying.
Are there different rules there?
100%.
Yeah, like the earth rules don't apply there.
No.
That's cool.
Maybe when we are incarnated there together, we'll do another podcast on what the karmic lessons in that universe, what are the laws.
I'd love to know if these guys are holding podcasts or like watching us, silly people. They don't even know this. Cool. any one last thing that you'd like to share with the audience? Maybe an actionable, an insight that can help them in their karma journey.
Yeah, I think thought creates karma more than speech creates karma. Speech just cements it. Think before you think. And the moment you think something,
Love it.
get into awareness and say, okay, I'm correcting myself. I thought this, but guess what? I'm not choosing this. We can choose our thoughts also.
I
And
love
sometimes
it.
because of conditionality,
Yeah.
we end up thinking the same thing at the same trigger.
Yeah.
So if someone says something to you, this is your automatic, defeat the automatic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manmeet. Again, an episode of absolute delight, discovery, awe, and whatnot. It's always a pleasure holding the conversation with you and like getting so much of downloads and insights from you. I really hope that today's episode is again a portal where other people can transcend and get to know more deeper about karma theory. So big gratitude to you. Thank you so much. for
Good to
being
be
in the
here.
chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to all you lovely people who stuck till the end, please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. If you think that someone thinks really deeply about karma all the time, don't forget to share this episode with them. And we will be back again with another exciting episode and another exciting guest. Till then, take care. Thank you.